Hi, YouTube family. Today I want to talk about when the new supply tries to leave. And the reason I want to talk about that is because that's what happens. The new supply does get to a point where they will try to leave. But here's the deal. The narcissist is at a point where they are super desperate because they have to keep up an image, right? That things are working out great with the new supply. Especially for you, right? If you're watching them, for their exes, if their exes are watching them, they want to make sure that the exes feel like things are going great without you, right? Without the ex. So the new supply, though, as we all know, will suffer the same abuse that we did. So they get to a point where they're like, that's it. I am out of here. And even the new supply that they proposed to, the new supply that they say, you're the only one I wanted to marry out of all those other people. And that's why I didn't marry my ex. I wanted to marry you. Or this is why I left my ex, because I wanted to marry you. So they will come up with all kinds of excuses to make the supply feel like they should stay. But once the abuse gets pretty obvious to them and they don't want to hang out anymore, they'll start to pack their bags. It happens. They will tell the narcissist that they are done and they don't want to stick around for this. But then what happens is the narcissist will beg and beg, plead with them. I can't survive without you. And you're the only one for me. You're my soulmate. What will I do? They'll start to pour on incredible, deep guilt trips, heavy guilt trips on the new supply. And the new supply is going to think, oh my gosh, if I leave, this person's going to be destroyed. They may even threaten suicide, which is really manipulative of them. They'll even probably cause some kind of physical harm to themselves, like maybe cut themselves or something like this. This is stuff I have actually witnessed. So I wanted to tell you this does happen with the narcissist. They will threaten suicide and make the new supply or whatever supply, right, in the line of things, make them feel like they have to stay, because if you don't stay, then they will hurt themselves and that will be on your hands. This is what they will do to try to manipulate you to stay. And so if we're watching the new supply and we're wondering how things are going and things look amazingly beautiful over there, know that there's all this destruction going on around them. Know that the new supply has attempted to leave at one point or another. Whether it's in their heart and they're just thinking about it, or they actually attempt to leave. And if they attempt to leave, the narcissist is going to be extremely manipulative, more so than they ever have been, because they have to put up appearances at this point of looking like they're all together and that it was all your fault that the relationship ended, or you were the crazy one and that's why they had to leave you. But soon after, the new supply will, if they stay, they're going to find that they're feeling alone. They're not going to feel this incredible gratitude from the narcissist because they stayed. The narcissist now knows that the new supply is willing to stay no matter what. And they know what they need to say in order to convince the new supply to stay. They've learned what the weakness is for the new supply is as far as guilt and as far as manipulation goes. But here's the new supply. They'll be sitting there, or it could be you. You're sitting there and you're like, well, I came back because this narcissist begged and pleaded, even threatened to kill themselves if they didn't have me, if I wasn't in their life. And yet, pretty much they move on with their life. They go on and they act as if you're barely there. And they're all happy and they're on cloud 9, which is weird. And they're moving on, doing things even without you, hanging out with their friends or going out more without you. And you're like, wait a minute, I stayed. Why did I stay? And then you're treating me like this. You were telling me you couldn't live without me. And now, essentially, they're living without you, right? It's crazy. They start treating you like you are worth even less. And they think of you this way because now they know you're not going to leave. There are no consequences to how badly they treat you. And yes, they treat you like crap. They treat you like you mean nothing. And then they start to, you thought the abuse was bad before. It gets worse now because they think that they can continue to pour on the guilt. But not only that, they actually lose value. You lose value in their eyes because you stayed. And they think that, well, if you're willing to stay, then maybe you're not really as worthy as I thought you were. Maybe you don't have as much value as I thought you had. And suddenly you find yourself that you have less value in their eyes after you stayed, which is the opposite, right, of what it should be. If you agreed to stay and put up with their crap, right, put up with their abuse and I'll give them a second, third, fourth chance, you would think that they would be more grateful, that they would be indebted to you, that they would feel like, this time I'm really going to make it work. But it's the opposite with narcissists. They don't value people the same way that we value people. They don't value loyalty the way we do. In fact, a lot of narcissists that turn psychopathic will look at people that they take advantage of, whether it's loved ones, family, members, parents, siblings. If those people fall for their ploys, they act as if those people deserve it then, even though they'll profess that they care about those people. Yeah, so all these people in their life are going to be struggling to stay above water, struggling to survive because the narcissist now has no value at all for their life. They don't care what kind of trauma they put you through at this point because actually since the moment that you tried to leave or when the new supply tries to leave, since that moment, after you decide not to leave or after the new supply decides not to leave, they start to look at that person with no value. And they know you came back, but now they're questioning whether they even wanted you. It's crazy, right? And they think that you will take whatever they're going to give out. Every day is going to be a struggle. Every day is going to be a fight. Every day is going to be disaster for whoever ends up staying with the narcissist. So if you are the ex and you're looking over there at the new supply, know that they are struggling like this. They can't leave. They already promised that they would stay. And words for normal people like us mean something. If we say we're going to stay, and if we say we're going to give a second, a third, or fourth chance, we actually do. If we say that we won't leave someone, we actually do stay. But it's hell. It really is. It's just horrid and terrible, and it's a constant fight with the narcissist to just keep your sanity. And a lot of times you don't keep your sanity. A lot of times the new supply is left wondering, why am I here? Why did I stay? They'll look around and see pretty much nothing. They won't see the narcissist hanging around with them. They won't see the narcissist building a life with them. They'll see the narcissist kind of moving on. They'll see the narcissist making plans without them. And they're just kind of there for convenience. The new supply, or if they decide to stay, they're just there now for convenience. It's not because the narcissist can't live without them. It's that they're just there and they're useful to the narcissist for the meantime until the narcissist is ready to leave. And a lot of times at this point, unfortunately for a lot of people, the narcissist is making their exit strategy. They're getting ready to jump ship. They're already starting up new supply lines, and they're already love bombing others, and they're already building a life outside and away from the new supply. And they just kind of keep the new supply there to pet their ego, or to come home to cook for them or clean for them or work so that they are supported by the new supply. It's really horrid for anybody who ends up staying with the narcissist, especially because initially They thought that this is horrible. They already saw the abuse, earlier on in the relationship, and they did try to leave. But here's the good news for those of you who are the new supply, those of you who are the ones who had agreed to stay. There's still an exit. There's still an exit. You can still have an exit plan. Start thinking about that. Start laying down requirements for the narcissist and tell them that you're not going to put up with this anymore, that you're not going to stay if they continue to behave the way they are. If you continue to feel like you're second fiddle or third or fourth fiddle to everything and everybody else in their life, because they have now less value for you than they do anybody else. They're trying to win other people over, so they focus on those people and no longer pay any attention to you or the supply they're with. There's still an exit plan. You can still get out of there. And you know what? Don't be held to the promise that you were going to stay. You did. You stayed for a while, and now you realize you need to get out of there. Now you realize that things are not going to change. Because remember, even though you had made a promise to stay, the narcissist also made a promise to change. And if the narcissist didn't change, that contract is broken. If the narcissist did not start treating you better, did not stop cheating on you, did not stop abusing you, then you need to get out. There's no reason why you have to hold up your side of the bargain while they go and do whatever they want to do. One of my biggest regrets with the narcissist was staying. And the reason for that is because it became even harder to leave later on. I became more addicted to the narcissist, and trying to get out of there much later on was so much harder, because now they have you addicted and demolished, and your identity, your self-esteem is down the tubes. And at that point, it's even harder to walk away, because you've already compromised yourself, you compromised your standards, and you stayed. But here's the good news. It's never too late to get your self-esteem back. It's never too late to start those boundaries again, and set some requirements for the narcissist. And if they don't meet those requirements, then start making plans to move on, making plans to heal, making plans to get out of there. And that is the best thing that had ever happened to me, was getting out of there, you guys. And that's what I want for you. When you're in a relationship where they devalued you and they don't care that you've stayed and they don't care that you've sacrificed, then they don't care. They don't care about you. But it's up to you to care for yourself. And I want you to do that. I want you to care about yourself. I want you to care about your future, and I want you to have a good life. So YouTube family and podcast family, if you have found this helpful, please subscribe and like and comment. I would love to hear your experiences. Have a great day, and I'll look forward to seeing you again.